Thanks for coming back. Part 2 of my LinkedIn rant. I'm just kidding. But think about this. You're connecting with people on LinkedIn. You're not pitching. How in the world do you get them to become appointments and to generate money from them? Check this out. I'm going to give you some insights, and these are going to work for you. I promise you. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. On this episode, as I mentioned in a teaser, we're going to pick up from what I was talking about the other day where I was going off on what you should do with LinkedIn. This all came from a poll that I did on LinkedIn. Over 316 people at the time had responded to this poll. And the poll question was, drum roll, after you accept a connection request, what percentage of people are going to hit you up with a pitch on the next one? What percentage number of time? Percentage, yeah, it's a percentage. But anyways, it was first one was around 80 to 100%, and about 30% of people responded that they're going to get pitched in the next communication. 80 to 100% of the time, the next communication you're going to get a pitch. The next one was 50 to 80%, and in that category, there was about 30% of people said that 50 to 80% of the time they're going to get a pitch in the next communication. Then it was 30 to 50%, and that was actually small. It was only 16% said they'll get a pitch. And then less than 30%, there was another 30. Less than 30% of the time they're going to get a pitch, and there was 30% of people in that. But the interesting number was more than about 60% of people say that agrees that in their second communication after they accept a connection request, more than 50% of the time they're going to get about 50% of the time they're going to get pitched by a prospect, which is craziness. So what should I do instead? Because I get this from you. You tell me, Donald, well, I am on LinkedIn. How do I get people to actually want to do business with me? Well, there's a strategy that I've shared, and you can find this on multiple episodes that I've shared, but I'm going to reiterate it. And you can go, if you want to get connected and learn more about this, you can hit me up on LinkedIn, send me a DM. We do have a program, starts pretty soon too, but it's LinkedIn prospecting course. Our next cohort, we do this cohort every so often. And it's all around how you can generate appointments from utilizing LinkedIn. I'm giving you the strategies here. Some of you will take it and use it. Some of you won't. But the idea, number one, is connect, share, and engage. I started talking about this on the last episode, but you connect with your ideal customers, you share relevant content, and you engage with people who engage on your post. Now, that's not too difficult. Now, some of you will tell me, I'm posting, Donald, but nobody is commenting or engaging on it. That's fine. Continue to do it. Be consistent. But you can also engage on other posts within your industry. Let me give you some examples. If you go and search for hashtags, or you go to watering holes, so to speak, maybe you're in the hospitality space. What are some of the things that the hospitality conferences or associations are posting? They are a big watering hole for your industry, and there's people gathering around that. Maybe you could look at topics that are coming in the news. If LinkedIn is posting stuff in LinkedIn news, you can see if there are topics around things that are happening in hospitality. Are there dips right now with the economy? Those, your prospects are probably engaging on that, because again, LinkedIn data that I shared, sorry, not LinkedIn data, but the data that I shared was that 30 to 40, let me give you the exact number here, because I want to make sure I ain't sending you off wrong path. But 38% of aged 30 to 49 LinkedIn users say their primary source of LinkedIn is to get news and get insights. People are here to get company solve business problems, or they can't come to learn latest and greatest. They want to engage. People just like to be with other people. So if this is the case, and this is what they're on LinkedIn for, go and find where they're engaging, and then you just start watching from the sidelines. Those people or those big organizations and associations are attracting people. You then go in and engage. That doesn't mean you go and pitch. You go and engage. So if they're talking about, the tariffs are impacting the hospitality space, then what do you know about that you can add to the conversation? When you start dialoguing and you start answering questions, or you start asking questions based on what people are sharing, you start to pop up on those prospects' radar. They start to accept your connection requests, and that still doesn't mean they want you to pitch them. Your profile should definitely be talking about what you do. And we talked about that in the last episode. If you didn't hear that, go listen to the last one and come back and listen to this. But then you are going to attract the right people, and you start the dialogue and engagement with them. Your conversations in chat, in the DMs, is where the money is going to come from. And there's a great opportunities to generate appointments. And that's how I do mine. And yeah, if you want to learn more, then drop me a message and we can talk about that. Not trying to trick you to buy anything, because I just told you about going to the DMs, but it's just an easy way for me to communicate with you. And I like to communicate with you because it's fun. So that's number one, engage, connect, share, and engage. Number two, this one is going to require work. And I know some of you are not going to like it, but it's these days, if you are lazy, you are not going to be as successful. It's a newsletter. And what I would recommend you do is nothing too complicated. You know all the stuff, and you have technology at your fingertips. So if I were you, what I would do, sign up for ChatGPT, get the free version if you don't want to pay for the other version, and don't let chat write your stuff. But what I would do is think about the questions that your prospect asks. So let's go back to the hospitality space, and then think about the biggest challenge that prospects are asking right now. You probably getting these questions on your discovery calls. So you might say, if you sell a software into the hospitality space, you might say, here are the top 5 common problems that I'm getting from prospects, that hotel managers or hospitality leaders are facing, or bring it up. You don't have to come with all the solutions. Just tell them what the problem is. Number one, concern about tariffs, and then talk about what are they talking about. Number two, they're concerned about global travel with restrictions that may come, or immigration concerns. Number three, they're concerned about blankety blank. But your point, all you're doing here is you're dictating what you are learning. It doesn't have to be things from outside. But here's what I would do if I were you. I would go for a walk. You're walking a dog, or maybe you're like one of my neighbors that actually walked the cat. But you're, yeah, DM me and I'll tell you about that one. Call them the cat walker. But you go for a walk and you just use Chat GPT. You say, hey, chat, go ahead and go ahead and transcribe this for me and edit it for clarity and grammar. And then you just dictate it to Chat GPT and have chat take your stuff, not to go and steal somebody else's stuff, but to be the edge. They're coming to you to get insights and put your flair on it. Tell a couple stories, but now you just dictated that. It is already edited for you. You then listen to it, or you go and read it back and make sure it's good, and then you take it and you post it on your LinkedIn newsletter, and you're sharing this weekly, and it's not too complicated. Now that newsletter is going to start getting steam, because here's what LinkedIn wants. They want people to engage on their platform so their advertisers can be happy. So though you may not get a whole ton of engagement yet, but you do this once a week, what starts to happen is that, and you share a post on it, and then you get people in industry, you take some of their posts and you comment on that in your newsletter, you will start to see that people start to look at you now as this source of information, because that is why they are on this platform. Come on, man. LinkedIn want to get that engagement. So now you're going to start getting a lot of subscribers. Not a lot. Let's say you get a couple hundred subscribers. Just think about that. If you're in a room with a couple hundred of people that are your potential customers, isn't that a good thing? But if you have a couple hundred of people coming to your newsletter every single week to learn from you, come on. Don't you see the opportunity in that? That takes work, but that is not too difficult, because you can do this with Chat GPT. And you could have chat go find some stats to support your claim, but you can, that's the research part. But you're going to do that anyways if you did just a Google search. But the information is from your head, your knowledge. And I find that to be fascinating when it comes to it. And you engage with those people that's on your newsletter, and you start conversations with them. The whole thing with LinkedIn that I find is to start conversation. If you can have conversations, you're going to develop opportunities. Not conversations like, hey, man, I like your banner. It looks cool. But conversations, that could probably lead to somewhere. But conversations with your ideal customers and obviously try to get the conversation to talk about pain. If you can find where they're talking about it, or if they have issues with it, with a problem, then it's going to help. The last thing that I want to talk to you about, talked about newsletter, is going back in your sharing content, is going back to the people that actually are connected to you. I shared an episode about this recently, but this one is just so silly simple. You and I both have connections with people who are our ICP. I just want to repeat it. Just go find those people on a day-to-day basis and who your ICP that connected to you, because you're connecting with people regularly, and then you ask them permission to ask a question. These people are already connected to you. That's the only time that I condone pitching on LinkedIn, when you get permission to do it. So those 3 things that I would tell you to do. It's not too difficult. Go find people, engage with them in those industry areas, do newsletters, or share posts. You can take that same thing and have chat take that information you just dictated and make it into a post. And then also is going to the I already mentioned going to the watering holes where people are hanging out, because that one is it's just overlooked. But the people that you're connected to already, your first degree connections, that's your ideal customers, just ask them permission to ask a question. And then at that point, send them a video or a voice message, and that's it. It works time and time again. If you want to learn more, go ahead and send me a DM on LinkedIn. If you'd like to learn about our LinkedIn prospecting course, just go find it. Go to thesalesevangelist.com/LinkedIn, thesalesevangelist.com/LinkedIn. Listen, I do this because of several things. I didn't have somebody to help me when I first started doing sales, and I needed to get that guidance. So I wanted to create a source where this could happen. This is my watering hole, and I thank you for coming to drink water here. If you like the water, keep coming back. And if you want to pay something, go check out one of our paid products. But if not, you can still get the free water. It's good. It's purified. It's from New Zealand. No, it's from Jamaica. Number 2, I want to be able to, I wanted to get business. What I find is when I share relevant content and insights like this, just like on LinkedIn, some of you, a percentage of you, are going to come back and have me do your SKOs, going to have me do training your team or consult with us. And then the third thing, it's just fun. As you can tell, I like what I do. I've been doing this podcast since 2013, and it's been fun. And I continue to do it until it gets boring. And I don't see any time soon that it's getting boring. It's fun. I appreciate you. I'm grateful that you're here, and I want you to thrive and succeed. But most importantly, I want you to raise your level of thinking, go out and do big things. And I'll see you on the next one.